All right, let's dive into a novel that really gets you thinking. It's called Theo of Golden, and it's all about this quiet stranger who shows up in a small town and, just through simple acts of kindness, starts to unravel the hidden stories of everyone who lives there. You know, this quote from the town's local artist, Asher Glisson, it really is the heart of the whole thing, isn't it? It gets right to this central idea that every single person you meet has this incredible, unique story inside them. But, and this is the big question the book asks, who's actually stopping to listen? So let's meet our guy. Into the town of Golden walks Theo. Picture this, a well-dressed elderly gentleman. He's got a noticeable foreign accent, and for some reason, he just loves rivers. He's meticulous, you can tell he notices everything, and almost immediately he finds himself drawn to this one local coffee shop that's about to become the center of his whole world. And this coffee shop, the Chalice, it's not just any old place. It's the absolute hub of the town, kind of like its community living room. But here's the really cool part. Its walls are completely covered with 92 stunning pencil portraits of all the regulars. Each one is like a window into that person's soul. And they're all for sale. Okay, so Theo sees these faces on the wall, and he's just completely captivated. He doesn't just see them as art, he sees them as stories that actually belong to the people they depict. And this sparks this wild, beautiful idea, a quiet, anonymous mission he calls the bestowals. The plan? To buy these portraits and give them back to their subjects. And he doesn't just hand them over, no way. He has this whole process. It's very methodical, almost ceremonial. First, he secretly buys the portrait. Then he writes a mysterious letter, inviting the person to meet him at a public fountain. Can you imagine getting a letter like that? And when they show up, he presents them with their own portrait. Then he simply asks them to tell him their story. This is where the magic really happens. This simple, completely unexpected act of kindness, it's like a key turning a lock. It gives people permission to be truly seen. And in the presence of this gentle, attentive stranger, they start sharing the deepest parts of themselves. So let's take our first example, Minette. On the surface, this woman has it all. She's a junior partner at a big accounting firm. She's successful, she's smart, comes from a prominent family. Her portrait captures this strong, confident woman. But when she meets Theo, a totally different story comes out. She confesses that her high-powered career feels more like a cage, and that her deepest, truest desire is to become a mother, a secret she's barely even admitted to herself. And then you have Ellen. She's a fixture in town, a woman who lives on the streets. You see her with her bicycle, often speaking in sentences that don't quite connect. She's someone most people just walk past, someone easily misunderstood. But in her moment with Theo, the source of all her pain is revealed. She shares this absolutely heartbreaking story of a daughter that was taken from her years ago, a grief that she carries with her every single day. Theo's gift is just giving her the space to finally voice this profound loss. So this brings us to the central mystery of the whole novel. I mean, who is this guy? Why is he spending his time and his money orchestrating these deeply emotional encounters? What is driving this elaborate conspiracy of kindness? Well, the answer lies in Theo's past, a past he has worked very, very hard to escape. To really understand his mission in Golden, we have to uncover the man he used to be. And here it is, the big secret. The unassuming man everybody knows as Theo is actually Zilla, as in one of the most celebrated world-famous artists of the 20th century. A guy whose paintings literally hang in the UN. He walked away from all of that immense fame to live a life of complete anonymity. So why would he do that? Well, his transformation was born from unimaginable pain. After his beloved 10-year-old daughter Tita died tragically, Zila was just consumed by a grief that nearly destroyed him. All the fame he had, it became disgusting to him. His healing only began one evening by a river, when he saw a murmuration, that incredible cloud of thousands of birds dancing together in the sky. That moment of beauty broke through his despair and gave him a new purpose, to live a small life, dedicated to quiet, meaningful acts of kindness. Theo's year in Golden ends with his own sudden, tragic death, but the connections he made and the stories he unlocked, they don't end with him. His legacy creates these ripples that continue to spread long after he's gone. In his single year in that town, he bestowed a total of 43 portraits. That's 43 conversations, 43 moments where someone was truly seen, and every single one of them planted a seed of transformation. And the results are just profound. Minette finds the courage to leave her job and has a son, who she names Theo. A street musician goes back to school and gets his doctorate. A cellist recovers from an attack to achieve his dream. Ellen starts a thriving business making art. And in the most stunning twist of all, the artist Asher discovers that Theo, the man the world knew as Zilla, was his biological father. At Theo's memorial, the local priest says this, and it sums up his legacy perfectly. His acts of kindness weren't just about making someone feel good for a day. They were about unlocking a person's potential and pointing them toward a future they might not have even seen for themselves. And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? The story of Theo reminds us that the world is quietly being shaped not by grand gestures, but by small, often unnoticed acts of connection and kindness. It makes you wonder, what stories are waiting to be told all around you, just waiting for someone to listen?